Greetings. Hello to everyone out there in YouTube land. Hello to the mystics and the dreamers out there. My name is Belle. I like to do some tarot inspiration today. As usual, please think for yourself and use the tarot only as the inspiration that I'm intending it to be, at least in my way of looking at the tarot. The only thing I can think of to add in terms of news or anything is the upcoming mystic philosophy videos that I'm thinking about. I've done one mystic philosophy video so far. It went pretty well. I was really inspired that day, so I think that may come across in the video. I may try to do the mystic philosophy videos either every week or every other week, but I'm not sure yet. So the upcoming topics are life as a celebration for one topic, and then another topic is different cultures and the way they approach the idea of death, like as a transition or something like that. What's the third one? Let's see if I can think of it. The other one was going to be about aliens and universal beings. I like to call aliens universal beings, so it's a little less fearsome or something like that. Anyway, so those are the topics I'm thinking about. It's kind of just freestyle, as most of everything I do is. Anyway, let's jump into the actual cards. Today, I am using some of my favorites again. Shadowscapes Tarot, Chrysalis Tarot, and I think it's called Animal Wisdom Tarot. I've shuffled the cards and picked them, but I haven't looked at them quite yet. I'm just going to be surprised in the video. Oh, the first one is, whatchamacallit, a little bit dramatic. Three of Swords with the swan stabbed through the heart. That's horrible. Three of Swords, this is about maybe bitterness or heartbreak. Excuse me. The second card from Shadowscapes is the Sun. So already we have different points of view. We have, there's so many different facets to life, right? So we have Three of Swords, heartbreak, stabbed through the heart, and then we have the Sun, which is very optimistic. And actually, to inspire me, I have a Sun card out from the Angel Tarot cards by Dorian Virtue. I have this to inspire me by my computer here. So, I don't know. Let's see what the third card is, because this is kind of weird. The Magician. Okay, so let's see if we can weave this together. Magician card is really cool. So you could say maybe one of the acts of the magician, one of the ways that he acts in the world, is to weave together these different facets, whether it's heartbreak and dismalness, or whether it's total positivity and optimism. The magician is faced with all these things, and he or she is able to create something new out of the bad and the good. And that's really cool. I really like that. Creating something brand new, to me, is like the metaphor of alchemy, which I think I've talked about before in another video. So those actually kind of worked well together. The trio of different ideas. That's really cool. Okay, let's move on to the Chrysalis Tarot. The first one is Five of Mirrors. Looks like someone who's meditating, kind of thinking about her crown chakra and her heart center, maybe peering inward on a meditation journey. And apparently there's all kinds of ways to meditate. I think different people have different favorites. I kind of like to play around with it. Sometimes I just try to meditate with a clear mind, just try to rest in a way, and like sometimes that turns into like a spaciousness feeling, and sometimes it doesn't. And then other times I try to have kind of a more neutral, even more neutral or receptive sense, and just see what ideas come up and just kind of see what happens. But I'm just playing around with it for now. So it's kind of interesting. This kind of reminds me of meditation. Second card is Two of Mirrors. So it's the same suit of mirrors. I'm not sure which suit it is traditionally. I'm not sure which one it's based on. Maybe cups. I'm not sure. So two swans with mirrors. Two of mirrors. Let's see. This could be about... I don't know. I'm just creating this idea, but it could be about the idea of beauty being something that is personal, or instead of having like a superficial cultural idea of beauty, having more of a flexible, healthy, personal sense of beauty, which could be like what you're inspired by, or what is vibrant to you, or just everything. You could say everything is beautiful because everything is part of life. And that's what this reminds me of, just because of that story about the ugly duckling who turned into a swan. So I'm just making that up. But that could be reminiscent of that. The third card is Five of Scrolls. This comes up pretty frequently. To me, today this card is about the sword represents human intelligence and the mind, and the way that your own ideas can slice through other people's ideas. And that sounds kind of bad. Not in like a horrible way of like debating people in like an aggressive way, but I'm talking about the scrolls representing reading material and the sword representing your own viewpoint. And I personally, as part of mystic philosophy, I don't think we should ever just take on other people's ideas. I think we should always think for ourselves. And if we take some inspiration from something, we should then mold it into our own worldview that's very creative and dynamic in whatever way works best for us. So that's what that means to me today. Okay. So that was pretty interesting. Let's move on to the Animal Wisdom Tarot. I'll have to see what happens. I'm not that great at making up stories about the Animal Wisdom Tarot because it's a little bit more cheerful and like, I don't know, I really like these cards from the Shadowscapes tarot. They're really beautiful. And I like the drawings for the Animal Wisdom too, but for some reason it's more difficult to tell what's going on or to create like a story or anything about it. Ooh, the first card is Spider, Sacred Spinner. Ooh, this is so cool. It's like Grandmother Spider Woman. I think that's a Native American story. I am no expert on that story, but it's a really cool story. I think part of the idea is that there's this goddess called Grandmother Spider Woman, and she helps weave new worlds into existence. To me, when I think about the spider and I think about weaving reality, I think that's something that each individual can do for herself. I think we all have ways of weaving meaning and just thinking about how we want to perceive things and what we want to focus on and spend our time thinking about. We have so much creativity and freedom. It's really exciting. So that's what this card reminds me of. Second card is Magpie, Seven of Feathers. This card has come up before too. Maybe this card means don't take yourself too seriously. I think magpies maybe are mischief makers. I'm not sure. So it's almost like the trickster character holds the key and it's just like kind of flying around with it, not letting anyone grab a hold of it. It could be a key to lots of things. So I'm not sure what this means, except maybe like have a sense of humor and don't take things too seriously. The last card from Animal Wisdom. Whoa, this card came up for me recently. It's Vulture, 10 of Feathers. So this is another ancient wisdom card through a goddess figure, which I just realized recently. I had never liked vultures that much. I think I talked about this in another video, but apparently, according to some people, there was an ancient goddess figure who was related to the vulture in, I think, Egyptian mythology, or in some people's interpretation of Egyptian mythology from ancient stories, I guess. So it's kind of interesting that we have these two ancient goddess figures represented by the spider and the vulture. They're so powerful in different ways. Like the vulture, to me, could be about these cycles of regrowth. We have probably the cycle of nature that all of us are afraid of, which is decay and destruction. And usually we think like that's about it, and we're just dismal and we're depressed about it. But I'd like to think that there's a cycle of regrowth after the destruction and decay. So I think the vulture could represent just having a little bit more flexibility about accepting the death and decay and destruction when we have to. That doesn't mean we necessarily like it, but maybe it's about tuning into the cycles of nature a little bit and seeing what we can learn in our own way. It's kind of interesting. I'm going to talk about this later in one of the mystic philosophy videos probably. But one of the main components of mysticism to me is the ability to have inner information. Usually when we think about information or knowledge, it's something we read or perceive in the world, and then we gather that information and we learn it. But the difference in mysticism is you spend time quietly sitting, quietly meditating, and then you see things in a new light, or you actually are open to a source of information. I don't even know what the source would be because it's kind of mysterious to me, but it's that idea that there can be an inner sense of wisdom through that quiet time spent contemplating. So, what was I thinking about? I was just thinking about how we can contemplate these really epic or really important ideas about nature, and it may be the nature of reality as represented by the spider spinning her web, and it could also be about the nature of cycles of growth, decay, and regrowth. If we meditate and contemplate a theme that has a lot of mythology or a lot of mysterious wisdom surrounding it, it's possible we could receive some insights through that quiet time spent. I don't think there are any guarantees, but I think most people who reflect on things in different ways get something pretty significant or meaningful out of it. So this was really fun. We used Shadowscapes, Chrysalis, and Animal Wisdom Tarot decks. It's really great to get out the tarot cards again. I know that my way of approaching the tarot is a lot different than other people's. Maybe mine is a little bit more lighthearted than other people's, but I think that's okay, at least in my worldview. So, I hope this inspires you to perhaps buy a tarot deck of your choosing and learn from it, or have a playful sense of it. And please stay tuned for other mystic philosophy and tarot videos if you would like. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Bye.